Hi traders, Mandy here from High Performance Trading. Last week I received an email from a trader who just started trading full time, and he said that he's so frustrated because there was not one single trade that he could find, sitting all day in front of the computer, and he feels so unproductive, and he feels the urge of having to make money because he's trading full time now, and the money is supposed to come from trading to pay the rent and the family vacations, and so the fear naturally kicks in. But the thing is, that's employee thinking, because think about it, employees, they get paid for showing up. Even if they produce value or not, they still get paid for their time. Traders, on the other hand, well, we get paid according to our skill. But the skill is not just catching the entries and the exits, and it's not just having a strategy with an edge. It's really so much more than that. It's understanding what makes markets move. It's the ability to read price action and the rhythm and the flow of the price action. And that's where actually a lot of traders stumble. It's concluding the potential direction of the next move when you have made your analysis and being nimble to change when the markets change, right? So just because your analysis at a certain point in time told you to, let's say, go long, something could happen by the time you get to the screens or by the time the cash markets open, and then you need to adjust. So you need to stay nimble. And of course, we need to become really good at doing what we say we would do, which is essentially discipline. But what if discipline is not just following rules? What if the lack of discipline is actually because we are in some sort of fear? Right? So anxiety gets triggered. So essentially, discipline is all about managing our emotions, learning how to regulate our fears, and not pushing through necessarily and doing the job. Like if it were that easy, everybody would do it. And for some, actually, frankly, it is that easy. Some traders, they are already conditioned that way that they can do whatever it takes, even in the presence of fear. And for others, it's not. So they have to learn and practice how to regulate their emotions to focus on their job. And the thing is, when you understand that it doesn't matter when and how you make the money. And Linda Rushke always says she makes 70% of her profits in about 20, 30% of trades. Right. So that's really what it is about. And think about it, there's thousands of profitable traders each day, and they trade across different time frames, different strategies, different risk management styles. And if they can catch a trade and you can't, well, then there's something to look in the mirror for, right? So it's about improving your skill then. Channel your frustration into, okay, that all that means is that I have to get better, that I'm making a skill, and maybe I need to expand my toolbox on how to trade the markets. I only have a long strategy. I need to have a strategy to um, trade short or trade sideways or trade retracements rather than reversals. And whatever it is, you can have a look at your system yourself. Now, last Friday, which was OPEX day and triple witching day, which is usually not a day that I like to trade, but boy, was that an amazing. I tell you, that was exactly the type of trade that I personally live for, and I want to show you why and how. So let me share my screen. Share, share, share. There we go. So here we have the YM. Excellent. And actually, let's go back one more bar. So that was just about the market opened. And you can see that was the previous day's close of the cash at the time of cash. So cash chart is trading between 9:30 and 4 p.m. New York time. And at 4 p.m., that's where the YM closed. So now we can already see at the time on Friday when YM was, or when the cash chart, the Dow was supposed to open, we were already 500 points down. Now, there is a high probability that we first attempt some sort of gap close or at least a retracement. It is very rare that the market keeps selling off immediately. Now, this is where I also see a lot of traders falling into that trap. they think the market is down, it has to continue down, but no, it doesn't, right? And one of my preparation routines are that I always look at where is price, futures price now in relation to yesterday's close. And if it is around the area, then there will be maybe an orderly move. But if it is hyperextended, either far below or far above yesterday's close, then there's a high probability for some sort of at least partial gap close, right? So I would rarely take a move straight off the bat, out of the gate into the direction of where the gap is. So I would not short this one. Now let me show you another piece of preparation. So I had my line here. So you can see on the 14th of July, that was on the YM a significant low. And I have that line here because I don't see now what's happening on the left-hand side, but that's really important, right? Because the left-hand side leaves us clues on what's going to happen on the right-hand side. And now look what happened. I'm actually going to go on the 1-minute chart. So that was the minute before the opening. And this is what the market loves to do. There was one flash to the downside, sucking all the hopeful and happy bears in, taking all the stop orders, and then that happens. It immediately, right away, gets bought up. That for me is a long. So another reason is when we look at the Bollinger Bands, you can see the outside band is a 2 standard deviation. And there has been heaps of research done, you can read up on it, that very often when the 2 standard deviation has been taken out at a particular important level, there's a high probability for either retracement or even a reversal. Look at this one. So I call them my slingshot Bollinger Band setups. They have a very high probability, but as I said, not every Bollinger Band outside Bollinger Band setup is working. We really have to look at where is that setup in relation to the past. It has to be at a significant level. So it's just for fun, buy 100, 101, why not? And then I put my stop loss simply down here. I know they say don't put your stop loss immediately below the low, but it doesn't matter to me. That to me is just an emergency stop loss. If I see that starts failing straight away, I'm out. I do not clown around on these trades. And I know there will always be a great entry because sometimes it takes a little bit of time. So then what happens? Woohoo! Price is going up, taking out these 2 significant levels. Let's see what happens next. It's starting to slow down, isn't it? But I've got my stop loss in. And now you can see that is the middle Bollinger Band. The middle Bollinger Band is the same as the 20 moving average. Price had a little setback, a little retracement into the 20 moving average, and then easy going uphill. So now let's have a look at the 5-minute. Beautiful. On the 5-minute, you don't really see the standard deviation slingshot as clearly as on the 1-minute. So that's why I always have 6 time frames open. So I have the 1-minute, 5-minute, 30, 1 hour, 4 hour, and the daily chart open. So that I really have a clear insight into what is going on. Sometimes you see clearly on a 1-minute, sometimes you see clearer on a 4-hour chart. So that's why maybe because I'm female, I don't know, I always need a lot of certainty. And that's why I get a lot of certainty by having an overview over the whole landscape of my time frames. And others, they just need, a tiny snapshot, and all they do is, they have the chart like really zoomed out, and it's like, oh, I can't trade like this because I can't see anything. So now that's the first 10 minutes. Let's take the next bar. That's the first 15 minutes. So now let's have a look at the 15-minute bar. And you can see that is a massive bullish setup. I go back to the 5-minute. And so it opened low, higher, closed higher, opened higher, closed higher. It cleared this significant level. Let's see what's happening next. But the 15-minute already shows us that that is a higher probability for a strong move continuing. Now you can see it close that gap. Now I'm super careful. So what's going to happen next? Go on the 1 minute again. And is there structure on the left-hand side? Yeah, here a little bit, but nothing that, significant like we had down here. So let's see what's happening. Price is very far away from the 20 moving average or the middle Bollinger. The probability for at least a retracement starts getting higher. And you know what? I just made $234,000 on Sim, of course. But now I'm getting defensive of my profits because that for me is a short-term trade. That's like, 500 points. Say thank you and be grateful. As one of my um, trading buddies always says, leave leave some for the pigs. So now you can see prices stalling, it's going sideways. Still no reason to exit. I don't like this. Let's have a look at the 5 minute. You can see here we have a standard deviation. And here we get, I don't know if I would have stayed in this one. Frankly, I did not in real time, but it doesn't matter, right? I'm grateful for what I have. So you can see here there was a retracement into the, sorry, there was a retracement into the middle Bollinger. And then I did one leg to the upside. But now if you look at Elliott wave, you have 1, 2, 3, that would be a 4. Again, I leave the rest for the pigs. And now it starts peeling off. Right? So these few points that it keeps going, I don't care. Right? I've made my money, I'm grateful, and that's all that counts. And to sit through all this for hours is taking so much more of my mental and emotional capital than it's going to bring me money. I'm not going to waste that because I'm looking for the next awesome trade. Now you can see this one was so easy to trade, this one. And that's what we live for. That's one of those trades that was a no-brainer where we make 70% of our profits in this one trade. And yeah, so I hope you saw that even if you don't see a trade for days, it doesn't matter because these are the trades that you want to catch. And if you want to catch those trades, you always have to have one toe in the water and keep watching the markets. So I wish you a successful week ahead. We have earnings season starting. Earnings season is very, very exciting. One of my traders told me Intel is going to be a cracker, either to the upside or the downside. There is no clarity as yet. But yeah, be careful, manage your risk, and take opportunities of those amazing trades. The market loves you. The market wants you to be amazingly abundant and successful, and so do I. And remember, every successful trader has had a dark past, and that's why every struggling trader can have a bright future. Peace out.